Now, many of you know that yesterday on all the videos I did, we were discussing about the $283 billion worth of stimulus which investors, analysts are expecting, or were expecting the finance minister to announce today. And boy, I must say, it is pretty interesting, incredible, because I see on the screen, the minister announced a big stimulus of $325 billion. Now, this is way above the 283 billion which analysts were expecting, and I think this should be bullish for EV stocks like Nio. I mean, when I discussed that yesterday, so many of the people, or some of the investors that watch the content I make, they were just against all that. They are saying it will cost a lot to China, but I mean, let's face it. Yes, I know it will increase inflation, but inflation in China, it's extremely low, guys. This is one of the things that some of the investors, rather, they are not looking at it in that way. And stocks like Nio, when they receive a boost from this massive stimulus, it's not like they are not doing the work. The fundamentals of Nio have improved so much. These news are bullish, and the Chinese government is not just going to inject money into the markets, but they are injecting money into the markets where their stocks are so undervalued because of the current fundamentals we see. So that video I did yesterday, I did indicate one thing, and I was like, is it the last day to buy at these levels? And I think the way this is good news, I think we might see Chinese equities once again rallying next week, because the stimulus which the finance minister just announced went above what analysts and investors were expecting. 283 is what was expected. 325 billion is what was announced, which I must say, I'm very excited about this. So this shows us, or teaches us, one thing, and that is we must never try to time the market and maybe wait for the stock to drop, because it might not happen like that. I'm not saying all Chinese equities like Nio will be green next week, but there is a big possibility now, because of this announcement, that we get Chinese equities like Nio opening on Monday on a green, opening on Monday with a short squeeze, because of this massive stimulus, which, by the way, the finance minister said they will make sure that it gets injected into the economy in these last 3 months of the year, which is just so bullish, so massive and interesting. I mean, the talks that, or the announcements which were made on Tuesday, apparently it was not as exciting, which is why we saw Chinese equities not responding that much, as the statements were pretty underwhelming for investors, or for big investors who were expecting a lot of things. I think this one, on the other hand, or this announcement we just got made by the Chinese finance minister, I think these are bullish, and investors will take this, of course, going to Monday, or this bullish sentiment of this $325 billion worth of stimulus. I think investors will take that on Monday to the markets, and that is why we'll see, or it is one of the main reasons we'll see markets opening sharply up, like Chinese equities, for Chinese equities like Nio. So I am happy, man. I am excited. Yeah, it appears that there's more that we can still read, or that should be announced, or the news that probably will still get during the day. And as those news come, I'll definitely give them to you. I mean, Nio, it's one of the stocks that we talk a lot about on this channel, and these are some of the good news that will make the share price of Nio to grow. Fundamentally, Nio is strong. Fundamental Nio has been proving themselves, and China coming to boost the Chinese equities like Nio with their stimulus, it is just so incredible. I mean, the amount of money out of these $325 billion, which is just allocated mainly for the stock market. I think when I did the video, it was around $70 billion, right? So $70 billion will go into the market. They will be given to banks, financial institutions, brokers, then they can inject it to the market. When we did a video, I think 2-3 days ago, about that $70 billion of catalyst to be injected in the stock market, China had said that the institutions can now start applying for the funds to be, of course, come or directed to them. And I'll stress it again. Of course, this will spike inflation in China, but let's face it, in China, inflation is still it's still extremely low, lower than 1%, which shows you that though we can get a spike onto inflation, I don't think it will be as bad, right, as what we saw maybe back in 2020 when the US did this approach, right? So blue sky is coming, man. I think Monday we might open on a green because of this news. I mean, as I've said, I did a video yesterday saying, is it the last day to buy yesterday, knowing that we could read this kind of news that can boost the share price of some of the equities we own, like Nio. I think that might be truthful. Those that are still thinking of Nio going back to $4, that still are projecting Nio to go back to $3. Better think again, because it's not only about Nio now, fundamentals, but it's also about the Chinese government boosting their economy by these $325 billion, which they just announced today. Otherwise, with all that, I just thought I'd just give you this quick update. Tell me what you think about this. Blue sky is coming. Do your own due diligence, whether you are buying, selling, increasing your holdings onto Nio. Just make sure that when you do that, at least you have the proper good fundamentals to back you to do or for whatsoever reason you want to do with your Nio stock or with the Nio stock. Because we have seen a couple of times so many of the people panic selling and regretting later when the share price of that stock, which they had panic sold because of the stock price plummeting, regretting and wish they had not done that. So it is always important that over and above the videos you can watch here, over and above some of the things you can hear someone say or write about Nio, you go do your own due diligence, as it will give you the confidence when you are investing onto this stock. Otherwise, that's all from me, and God bless you all.